Hey, welcome to my very first self-produced ASL YouTube video. If you're looking for a lot of polish, a lot of glamour and glitz, you will not find it here. But I am really engaged in Season 11. I'm loving what we're doing. I think we're reinventing ourselves once again, and so I am trying to put my best foot forward and bring some extra fun to the league. And I thought I would do that by going through time, giving you a little history lesson. I don't know what this series will become or if it will be a series. I have the thoughts in my head to do a little bit of, this moment in time, or I've named this series ASL in review. Maybe we go back and look at an old tiering system or an old battle or an old personality, an old coach, or who knows what. Maybe we'll have guests, other things. It just depends on the level of engagement. If people are interested, if people want more, we'll figure it out. If people aren't interested or if they're not very supportive of it, then we won't do it anymore. So make sure, let me know what you think. So as I was thinking about doing this series, I thought of, to me, what's the most memorable game in ASL history? And for me, that is a pretty easy question. There's one game that sticks out to me in ASL history as the most fascinating game, and that is the Season 2 finals. A lot of you probably don't remember who these folks are. A lot of you probably do. We've got a lot of new folks in the server, but still some old folks around. Vish was a very good coach. Ruthless, very good. Every match against him was always a tough match. 8-5 season is obviously not a perfect season, but every loss was he's a tough team to beat. He was a tough team to put out. And in my mind, this roster was the best roster we've ever seen. Our tiering was not restrictive at all. It was the beginning of Gen 7, I think. It was sometime around there. Tapu Lele, Zygarde 50, Excadrill, just as a core is enough. That's enough. And then you've got Gengar, Blastoise, Chestnut, Jolteon. All that's of course back when hidden powers were a thing. This team is just top to bottom is nuts. We've seen in ASL over the last few years, Licky's become, kind of a dominant pick in the league and a mid-tier. This was a late-tier pick and is passing wishes all around. To me, the best roster in the history of the ASL. Matching up in the finals against TG1, the great one, we just called him TG for short, who is one of the most prolific coaches in ASL history. He didn't stay, now that we've continued the league for years and years, he wasn't with us that awful long, but he was very, very good. Always a tough out. And his team, it might be the worst team to ever make a finals. With Latias, Manaphy, Mudsdale, Mega Ampharos, Beware, Mimikyu, Uxie, Serena, Alolan Muck, Xatu, Linoon, Pavilion. Not a great roster. Not a great roster, but it's all about the use of the roster. And TG was unbelievable one-on-one. He was very difficult to face. So this match to me sticks out the most in all of ASL history because I think you got the best roster to ever make a finals. You got the worst roster to ever make a finals. And you've got two of the best coaches in ASL history. If you were to make a top 5 list, you'd be hard-pressed to leave one of these two off of it. Certainly, at least one of the two makes the top 5, and probably both of these two make the top 5 in ASL history. So, we're going to jump into the match and give it a look through. Give it an old look here. Gosh, I just remember this being such a great season. A challenging season in a lot of ways. So this is season 2, so season 1 is always rough of any new league. You're pulling in new coaches, you're swapping out coaches, you're dealing with, oh God, we didn't anticipate this. What are we going to do here? Season 2, we welcomed in probably half the league was new. And in the off-season, season 1, we had like a league war where we took our coaches and battled against another league, and it was really fun. But a lot of those guys really enjoyed what we were doing and came over and joined our league and stayed with us for many seasons. Vish being one of those. And so this was season 2 was really fun, really challenging, a lot of great battlers. It was a huge jumping competition for the ASL from season 1. And let's just see how it plays out. I think at Team Preview, you've got to favor Vish in this one. Team Preview is just not even remotely close, in my opinion. But we'll see how it happens, and this battle happens very quickly. Right off the bat, Uxie is a classic lead. It's never a bad time to lead with Uxie, unless you're facing a Gengar. And, a lot of damage served turn 1, but without the Uxie, you start to look in the back and you say, okay, well, what's going to switch into Lele now? What's his Lele answer? And that becomes a pretty big question early. TG does avoid the Destiny Bond, but the Crit Energy Ball obviously spells the end for the Mudsdale, which is a big issue because what's going to stop Zygarde and Excadrill for that matter? He really needed that Mudsdale. Tapu Lele has no answer now that Uxie's gone, and it very quickly dispatches the Latias, which was a key player for, quite frankly, a lot of these months. Jolteon, the Blastoise, Latias was really important for those. Excadrill is so good. It's so much better now in Gen 8, I think, with the Rapid Spin boost. But Excadrill's always been incredible. I continue to say it. I've said it forever. You do not need sand to have a great Excadrill. Living the Scald here. Linoon could have a belly drum there, maybe. But even if it did, feels like it was a lost cause because Zygarde could come in maybe E-Speed. Who knows? I don't know. But this was, as you can see, a pretty quick match. Not a lot that TG could do here. Great coach. He was one of the best. Hated that we lost him. He chose to step away and move on to other things. But a great guy. Super chill. Always positive. Never had a negative word to say. But great guy. Hate that he left. Vish, prolific coach, man. Pulled off a 5-0 in Season 2 finals. One of the most dominant performances in ASL history. With the best roster, in my opinion, in ASL history. Just the game to me that sticks out in my mind of how great a season TG had, brought that roster up in value, brought all the way to finals. Huge success for him. And our failure as a league to tier better and restrict some of these powerful mons, and ended up being just a completely broken roster. Vish, on his way to the finals, he beat Ian in the first round. And then he beat Melone in the first round. For those that don't remember Melone, he won when we did our Season 10 recap where we kind of gave out awards for the best of the first 10 seasons. Melone won Gimmick King. He was very creative, very difficult to face. And TG, he beat Static in the first round, and then he beat me in the second round on the way to this finals match. So great coaches, just a fun moment in history. I thought I'd share that with you. I hope you enjoyed it. And let me know what you think of this series and if you want to see more. Thanks.